Good afternoon, saints. This is the day that the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it. The first part of this video, not on this video, but I did another video which is a first part to this. I've shown y'all how banks are using debit cards, and they had chipped your debit cards. In this video, Is It the Beast Part 2, I'm going to show you the cards that I shown you on the first video that I've done. Then I'm going to show y'all a postcard that banks will send to you to get you to activate that card. First of all, I want to show to y'all the postcard that was sent to one of my family members. Take a look at the picture. Now, as I have shown y'all the postcard that one of my family members has received, why would the bank do what they can to push you into taking the chip? Let me explain something to you. The chip has something to do with Satan. There is no ands, ifs, buts about it. The chip has something to do with Satan. And I did a search on Google to find some debit cards that was put online that has the debit cards that I have found that I'm going to put on this video to show y'all that what I'm saying is the truth. On the first video, I shown y'all a set of debit cards that had the chip on it. Now this video, I'm going to post the same debit cards that I put on the first video on this video. Take a look at these debit cards that has the chip to them. So now, since I have shown y'all the debit cards, the MasterCards, the Visas, the debit cards from your bank, the bank is pushing people to get these cards with the chip activated. Now, if you don't believe me on this, go back and look at what my family member's postcard says. They are pushing people to activate these cards with the chip. If you do not activate the card with the chip, they will deactivate the card that you've been using. And And you know, that is why I'm saying that the bank knows exactly what's going on. They just ain't telling nobody. They are not telling you what is truly going on. I don't care what bank it is. The bank is not telling you the truth about these cards. Excuse me. These debit cards, MasterCards that has these chips, it's not for your protection. It is to gather information about you. Okay? If you got a debit card that doesn't have a chip in it, and they send you a debit card with the chip, and you don't activate it, if you will, go back and look in this video where I've posted one of my family members' postcard that they got from the bank, because the bank is threatening to turn off the debit card that doesn't have the chip in it. So there is a reason why the bank is pushing people to activate these cards with the chip. And it's because these chips has something to do with the devil. These chips has something to do about the government taking control over the citizens' lives. They trying to get it to where they can tell you what you can have, what you can't have. There's Birmingham, Alabama. They've already got, the government's already telling them what they can do and what they can't do. They even, in Birmingham, made a law, you can't back your car up in your driveway. If you do, you'll get a ticket. That's the government. That's the government. It was on the news. I'm sorry, it wasn't in Birmingham. I don't know what town it is.
Florida.
I think it was in Florida. I believe it was. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was in Florida. It wasn't in Birmingham. That was my mistake. I'm correcting my mistake. It was in Florida. I believe it was, if I'm not making another mistake. But it was in fact on the news. It was on ABC 3340. But the fact of it is, about this chip, it has something to do with demonic forces. It has something to do with Satan. And the bank is pushing people to activate these cards. So the government can have access to your routing number, your account number, to see what you're getting, to see what you're buying, seeing how much it was. They want to know everything about you so they can control you. Okay? That is part of the New World Order. Now, with that being said, I'm going to show you what the New World Order symbol looks like. Take a look at this symbol. So now, you saying, but evangelist, that's on the back of a dollar bill. Yes, you're right. It is on the back of a $1 bill. Now I'm going to tell you something about the money and the cash that we've got now. And this is a prophecy So listen to me very well. The United States economy is going to crash. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I'm telling you, the economy in the United States will crash. And it's gonna be really hard for people too, because without money, you can't buy nothing. You can't buy gas. Trucks can't get gas or diesel to get the food to the stores. So that means stores will be out of food. You won't have gas to get to the store to get food. If you do got gas, you better go to the store and get some food quickly. And save up on the gas. Because the economy will crash in the United States. I'm not just only an evangelist, but I'm also a prophet from the Lord. And I'm letting you know that the new world order is coming. The foundations of it has already been set in place. Listen to this, what I'm saying to y'all real carefully, because it's true. What is the new world order? The New World Order is the scheme to establish a new world order, in fact, a reality. Yes, it is. If you do not believe this, I encourage you to study the United Nations documents and also the treaties which once ratified by individual nations becoming international law. The United Nations created the Commission for Global Governance, which means one world, one government, one religion. If you don't believe this, visit the United Nations website and look it up. The Commission for Global Governance released a report at Our Global Neighborhood that predicts a world court. Okay? One world court. That means if you in another country or island, they have the right to go get you and bring you back to this one world court. That predicts a world court, a global tax, and a global police force. Which is that I can't think of what they called that right now, but it's gonna soon come back to my mind. The Commission for Global Governance released a report, Our Global Neighborhood, that predicts a world court, a global tax, and a global police force. And the U.S. State Department publication 7277 outlines a one world policy force under the United Nations. So many prominent world leaders are calling for one world government. The intention is obvious. Yet most people are so occupied by life's responsibilities, careers, sports, and television, they have a little time to study what's going on in the corridors of power. The coming one world government is being set up in the political arena under the flag of the United Nations through organizations such as the Trilateral Commission, if I said that word right, Council of Foreign Relations, the World Institute of International Affairs, the Bilderbergers, and the Club of Rome Relations, for example, is one world government. And although most have never heard of many of these groups, they do exist. And they are very influential. Excuse me. The core of these groups hold to Illuminist philosophy. A second focus is economics with free trade agreements, the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and the Bank of International Settlements. The coming global mandatory crisis is intended to institute a universal debt-based currency controlled by the international financiers and used to individual against biometric identification cards. This is all about control. That's what those chips are for in those cards. The third area of focus is religion. Organizations like the World Council of Churches and the Pyramid of World Religions were established to introduce a new world religion. If y'all remember, the Pope came to the United States to see the President of the United States, and they were talking about the one world religion. That's what the Pope is trying to get started, is a one world religion. It is based on a pantheistic humanist philosophy. Pay careful attention when you study the documents and reports published by the United Nations and related organizations. This philosophy is now being taught in the education system and has been implemented under programs such as Goals 2000. The New World Order will be socialism. Read the United Nations Declaration and treaties for proof of this fact. The individual will be subservient to the state. Rights and power reside in the derived from the state, not the individual. United Nations documents all speak of collectivism. They claim that private ownership and management of property is not to the benefit of the human race. These things are cloaked in pleasant language, and most people are taken in and deceived. Yet few bother to study these documents. In the New World Order, you will be serfdom to the controlling elite. You will have no liberty and no rights. The state will look after you for your best interest. Do you see how the government of the free world are slowly becoming more involved in everyday life? Listen to me very good, saints and people of this world. I would not be doing this video if the Lord did not put it on my spirit to do so. I would not be telling y'all this about the debit cards and the chip. As you have noticed, the government is becoming involved in our lives more and more and more and more. They have those debit cards chipped so they can watch and see what you are buying. That's all it is to get data from you and your personal information. Do you see how the government of the free world are slowly becoming more involved in everyday life? This is exactly what socialism is. The government becomes involved in every aspect of personal life. Today we require a license for so many things. In Australia, farmers now require permission to farm the land they own. Excuse me. This is not freedom. In the New World Order, private ownership of property will be obliged. So if your property is private property, it will no longer be private property. They don't care if you got private property signs up on your property. They will come on your property and take them down. Your property will no longer be private. They don't care what you say, and they don't care what anybody else says. Okay? The government becomes involved in every aspect of a personal life. Today we require a license for so many things. And in Australia, farmers now require permission to farm their land, the land they own. Are you serious? You have to get permission to farm on your own land? Come on, folks. There's something wrong with this. See what the government's doing? Don't be duped and fooled for what they are doing. This is part of the devil's scheme. This is Satan running this. This is not freedom. In the New World Order, private ownership of property will be obliged. You will only own what you need. After all this is best for the world, we need to be looked after. Terms such as sustainable development mean depopulation and self-doing. The masses continue to fall for lie after lie after lie. Study history and you will discover that there have been very few free societies. Those that were free were either overthrown or fell into the trap of socialism, totally unaware of the dangers until it was too late. Socialism is also implemented through deception. History portrays reproductive I can't say that word. My tongue's twisted right now. Enslavement, revolt, freedom, a path enslavement. Enslavement frequently followed revolution because the people did not realize that socialism was slavery, not freedom. Today, environment is being used to make people feel guilty, enticing them to accept socialism as necessary. The environmental movement has been co-opted to strip private ownership of control and exploitation of resources. Many environmental facts are lies, exaggerations, and unscientific claims to manipulate the masses in the classic create positions. It creates the problem. It creates the positions to the problem. Then present your own predetermined solution. Global warming is a perfect example. Everybody wants to blame global warming. I recommend reading the study, the report from Iron Mountain, which suggested the environment as a tool by which to manipulate the masses to accept loss of freedom to a one world government. Although landowner pays taxes and is steward of his land, his usage is dictated by international bureaucrats empowered by vulgar treaties driven by insane theology. Philosophy approved by the bullying, bribing tactics of governments. The United Nations goal is to reduce population selectively by encouraging abortion, forced sterilization, and controlled human reproduction, and regards 2/3 of the human population as excess baggage, with 350,000 people to be eliminated per day. Which is very sad. This is very sad. Currently, the United Nations is trying to establish the framework for an international criminal court. International criminal court. When this is established, the United States will be able to detain anyone from any nation and bring them before a panel of judges who will hear the case and pass judgment. This international court will deal with our crimes against humanity and environmental crimes. If you think there is nothing wrong with this, I suggest you read how the UN defines environmental crimes. A system is being created whereby those in control will be empowered to manufacture a crime and arrest anyone they deem a threat. The courts have no jury. One is guilty until proven innocent, and there is no appeal. Also, because this court is international and your nation has surrendered its authority, your own country cannot protect you. This is going to affect you directly. In the coming world government, you will have no personal liberty and no freedom. Did you know that the global assignment calls for human population to be reduced from 5.6 billion to 1 to 2 billion within the next decade? Reference GBA section 9.2.3.2. You didn't see that on the 6 o'clock news, did you? Read the Declaration towards a Global Ethic and learn what it classifies as an authentically human. This is a UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, prepared by Haynes Kong. Now, I will give you the link to this, and you can go. It has links, I believe it does. Yes, it has links, so you can go and read the documents that I was talking about. And I will do, is this the mark of the beast? Part 3 next. Thank you. Thank you for being so patient to listen to this video. Again, I will not be doing this video if it was not put on my spirit to do so. I love y'all. God loves y'all. And may the Lord of Jesus Christ be with all his children and with everyone else. And may God open y'all's eyes to see the truth of what the government is trying to do. God loves y'all. He said it in John chapter 3 verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Y'all have a blessed day. After this video, I will post up a sinner's prayer for those of you who don't know the Lord can come to know the Lord. I hope and pray that you will, if you're not saved, you will say the prayer, because Jesus Christ is the only one and the only one you can be saved by. And it is by grace you are saved and not by works. And remember, Jesus is Lord.